Okay, so big excitement building here because we are at the Lemosho Gate, which is the starting point for our particular trek. We're currently at 2,300 metres. We're going to hike 7 kilometres today, and then we are going to end up at 2,700 metres at Big Tree Camp.
Well, it's the end of day one, and we're now at Big Tree Camp, and we've climbed apparently only 400 metres to get here, but it did seem a bit more than that. We're now at 2,650 metres. Our tents are all up already. The toilet tent is up with a proper toilet. The dining tent is up, and it's all really lovely, and everyone's really happy. And a bowl of hot water came so we could wash, and we've had hot drinks and popcorn, and now we're just chilling before dinner.
It's taken us about 3 hours, I guess, which wasn't as long as we expected. I think we've trekked about 7 kilometres. The terrain was kind of mixed. It was quite steep in places, but we were going up and down. It's a kind of mud path, quite well kind of marked, so no real issues. It's a lot colder than we expected. It's I'd say about 10 degrees Celsius. Right, so we've arrived at our second camp, which is called Shira 1. We started the day at 2,650 metres, and we've climbed to 3,610 metres, so that's just under 1,000 metres. That's a 10-kilometre hike. We started off in kind of really beautiful rainforest with some stunning vegetation for I'd say probably about 2.5k, so about an hour or so, climbing quite steeply. And then we suddenly came into this kind of moorland type of vegetation, which you can probably see now. So the paths that we were hiking along had bushes that were kind of, I would say about 6 foot high. But the sun's been out pretty much all day, and it's been a beautiful day. The temperature's got quite high. It was probably up to about, I don't know, 24 degrees, I suppose, at one point. It's starting to dip now. We've learned a couple of things today, I suppose. First of all is, and if you know about Kilimanjaro, you'll be sitting there saying, well, we knew this, but we weren't kind of quite aware of just how dusty it is. So there's this really fine sandy dust that just gets absolutely everywhere, and you just have to live with it. There's not a great deal you can do. It's also, although we haven't got altitude sickness yet, you definitely can feel that you get a little bit shorter of breath when you're climbing, and you feel a little bit more dehydrated. They've really pushed drinking, so we've been instructed to drink at least 3 litres of fluid a day, which is quite a push if you're not used to that, but we've all managed to do it. The other thing we've learned is that the guides are incredibly well trained. So one of our team members turned an ankle literally in the last 500 metres towards the camp. I think we'd all relaxed a little bit. We'd had a great view of Kili. We could see the camp, and we were just relaxing a bit. And she turned an ankle, and the guide was just amazing. She kind of almost like reset it there and then, and she's gone from not being able to walk to now having virtually no pain. So these guys are certainly the guys that we're with, and I'm sure this applies to most of the guides here, are really well trained. But it's been a really good day. We're a little bit tired. We've had some great food, and we're about to have some more food, I think. So that's it.
Hi, well, it's the end of day 3, and we're at Shira Camp 2. So we've walked from Shira Camp 1, which is 3,610 metres, and we've come up to 3,850 metres, which was a distance of 10 k's and took, I think it was about 4 hours. And that obviously behind is Mount Kilimanjaro. So the weather is still good. I think most of us have a bit of a headache, but nothing really more than that at the moment. They have warned us tomorrow, day 4 on the Lemosho route, is is a big one. No more shorts, warm clothes. We're going to set off at 7 and we might not get into camp while it's still light. We're going to climb really high. John, can you remember what the place was?
4,600, I think.
Was that Lava Towers or something?
Yeah, Lava Towers.
Where we're going to have lunch and then we go back down to about 3,900 metres for a night's sleep. But we'll obviously tell you about that tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Okay, hi everyone. This is the end of day 4 of our Kilimanjaro trek. We've just done a mammoth day. This has been the most difficult day by quite a long way, I would say. We trekked 11.5 kilometres today. We started off at 3,850 metres at Shira 2 camp, and we've then hiked to Lava Rock camp, which is at 4,600 metres. That was about 9 kilometres. That was a tough gig because we were going up, obviously, and we ended up at a relatively high altitude, much higher than we've been before. We had lunch there, which was very nice, great break, and then we left there and we came down, and it sounds easy coming down, but actually it was pretty tough because it's quite steep, and we've ended up at Baranco camp, which is at 3,900 metres, so we've actually only gained 50 metres net, but we've hiked 11.5 k's. We set off, we were awake at 6 o'clock this morning, we set off at just after 7, and we got here at 4:30, so it has been a full-on day. We're all pretty exhausted, as you can imagine, but it's been very successful. Everybody made it, not too many major issues, so we're just about to go and have a nice cup of tea and some popcorn. Okay then, that's it for now, bye-bye. Hi everybody, so it's the end of day number 5, and yeah, it's been a really good day. Exhausting. We've only kind of in theory done half a day's hiking because we've hiked 6 kilometres, but we started off at the Baranco camp, which is 3,900 metres, and we climbed this thing which is got a kind of bit of an epic reputation called the Baranco wall. And you can see why when you've done it, because it's just an absolutely brilliant hour and a half's climbing, fantastic views. The views today have been amazing. Unfortunately, you can see that the kind of the low cloud is rolling in and you can't see the mountain and you can't really even see the other side of the valley very well. But it has just been absolutely brilliant views all day today. We've had a view of the top of Mount Meru, which is the second highest mountain in Africa. So anyway, we climbed the Baranco wall. That took us to 4,200 metres. And we then basically descended back down, all the way down to the base of this valley here, and then we had to climb back up again. And we are now at the Karanga camp, which is 3,995 metres. So we've actually only gone up just under 100 metres in total. But the sting in the tail, even though it was very kind of up and downy today, and there was a real sting in the tail because we got to the other side of this valley and we could see the camp, and we were all, yeah, that's great. And then we realised we had to descend this really steep path and then come back up the other side. So the sting in the tail was the final ascent, which took us best part of an hour. But overall, it's been a really good day. We're all a bit tired, but quite elated. It's been a fantastic day's hiking, loads of great views, beautiful weather, and in an hour or so we'll have our dinner and be in bed by 7:30 as we are every night. So yeah, what a great day, and hopefully day 6 will bring much of the same. Hakuna Matata. Mzuri sana wageni wakaribishwa Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata, hakuna matata.
That's the dinner tent, yeah, and in here is, I don't know if you can,
The bigger side is my wife's.
It won't go down.
The tiny side
That's
is mine.
me. And there's
John over there. That's our tent.
Just a little bit more kind of information and trivia about our trip. There are 7 of us in our group, so there's 7 of us, and there are 22 people in the supporting party. That includes 2 guides with us now and a 3rd guide to join us in a couple of days' time, and then cooks, waiters, and then a number of porters. The porters are limited to 20 kilos each that they're allowed to carry of our kit and the camp kit, and then they've got their own backpacks as well, and that is pretty impressive actually. It's very heavily regulated, so they get weighed at the bottom and then they get weighed again when they arrive at each camp. There's a set of scales which they weigh their baggage with, and if they are over that 20 kilos then the group leader gets fined. So it's pretty impressive really, and they're clearly from that point of view pretty well protected. Having said that, if you see them, they walk past us on the hike. They walk a lot quicker than we do, which in itself is a feat because we're going up quite sharp hills at various points, but they are carrying a lot of this stuff on their heads, which is just, it seems to be the easiest way for them to carry it. So yeah, it is a pretty impressive feat. We were told there are roughly 100 guests like us in this camp tonight. I think Saturday night is one of the busiest nights, so that kind of explains why there's so many people. And then there's obviously going to be large numbers of supporting crew as well, so it's a busy camp. So there is a toilet block here and a tap where they get their cold water from. The toilet block is not great, if I'm really honest, so we are very lucky in as much as we have paid extra to have our own toilet tent. You pay extra partly because obviously there's a cost associated with it, but also because somebody has to carry it, one of the porters that is, not us, and that is a luxury that if you're considering doing a trek like this, I think from what I've seen so far, I think that is probably a pretty good option to choose.